My president, though, he says, one of the biggest driving forces in the future for jobs are data centers. They are big, strong, bold, and money machines for the state in which they are built. Governor Kathy Hochul, for political reasons, has terminated all data centers being built or to be built in New York State. Did Kathy Hochul suddenly become a patriot? Did Kathy Hochul suddenly become a diehard woman of the people who's just looking out for the interests of her constituents and trying to protect their property rights and reduce their capital costs? And is that square for you? How do you wind up on the same side as Kathy Hochul on a subject like this? My president continues. These companies are now being sought in Alabama, Florida, Texas, Arizona, and many other states. Both the taxes and the jobs amount to liquid gold. Now, lots of people look at this and they say the jobs, but it doesn't take that many people to run a data center. He's lying. This is why I've spent 2 hours and 43 minutes going into painstaking detail about what the presence of data center or what AI will do to jobs. And the best way, if you don't completely understand what a data center is, but this is the best analogy for you. Imagine that a data center is an industrial production facility. Like a steel mill. What does the steel mill do? It takes the raw ore and it takes all the inputs and it produces steel. So it's a big industrial mill that takes in a bunch of raw stuff and produces a bunch of finished stuff that then goes on to be used to build things. Very important. Very bad to not have steel mills. It's basically impossible to even be a sovereign country if you can't produce and wholly control your own source of steel. Compute is the output of the industrial production facility called a data center. And AI, very hypersimplified, but just all you need to know. AI runs on compute. AI is the output from the industrial production facility of the data center. That then becomes the scaffolding upon which all these other, so it's like the steel girders or something, that becomes the scaffolding on which everything else gets built. So, this anti-data center hysteria is the equivalent to anti-steel production hysteria or anti-oil production hysteria. You cannot, on one hand, complain about the productive capacity of the United States being hollowed out and offshored, and then turn around and say, no data centers. You're a fucking retard. New York State has made a terrible decision. All of this income and other benefits will be going to red states, and some blue, where data centers are sought as cash cows with lower taxes and record-setting jobs. Again, the jobs are not working at the data center. And the taxes are because the data center it's like one facility, one location, but it generates an extraordinary amount of value. And so because of that, it has the capacity to generate an extraordinary amount of tax revenue, disproportionate to the population. This is going to create an entirely different model for local governance. He says they must pay for their own water and power, and any leftover goes back to the state and local community. So anybody complaining about rising utility costs or about how the data centers are just going to make everyone die of thirst or poison their water or something like that, literally, they must pay for their own water and power. And if they have any left over, they return it back to the state and local community. Data centers are tremendous wins for the states and communities that are lucky enough to get them. New York should change its policy immediately. The radical left Democrats must not be allowed to cause us to lose data centers, AI, and all of this incredible new technology to China and other countries. President Donald J. Trump. Because just like oil production, steel production, any other commodity being produced, just like those, is data centers and compute. Someone is going to build data centers. Somebody is going to produce and control all of that compute. And those who do are going to level up over those who don't. So this is a distinct matter of national security, which is why there are strong, well-funded foreign campaigns to induce retarded Americans into arguing for their own enslavement.